Hello, hello. So you have downloaded your human design chart and discovered you are a generator. What I'm going to talk you through here is quickly 5 things to get you started knowing about what does that mean to be a generator, how to start aligning to that energy. Now, this is not a comprehensive guide to being a generator. It's just 5 things because there are a lot of information in the human design system and I don't want to make it too overwhelming. So there are actually 5 types overall: manifestor, generator, manifesting generator, projector, and reflector. And at the end, I'm going to give you a little analogy of how all those types might work together on one project so that you can actually see where you fit in within that kind of analogy. This is my profile. I am a manifesting generator, but like I said, I'm going to take you through 5 things to help get you aligned with your design type. Um, the type is almost like the tip of the iceberg. As you go through the rest of your profile, you will add in lots of other bits and bobs, but this is to get you started. So, as a generator, you are here to respond. So what does that mean? The manifestors kind of are the ones who are here to initiate, but for you, really, something in your world is going to trigger a thought, and you are going to then have a response to that thought. And it might be that you're walking along and a bus drives past with an advert for a movie and think, oh gosh, yeah, I want to go see that movie. Or you're listening to a podcast and someone says something about running a membership and you think, oh gosh, yeah, I want to do a membership. So it's normally something externally that you have had a response to. And that response comes from your sacral. So as a generator, what makes you a generator is that you have this sacral center defined. And the defined definition here means you have consistent access to the energy of that center. And the sacral is the main kind of motor center, the biggest battery pack, I suppose, out of all. There are 4 motor centers, but the sacral is the one with the most energy. So the biggest kind of battery pack of energy. But the whole human design chart really is actually teaching you how to use your energy most efficiently. And it's almost like, yeah, like an energy efficiency guide, because when we're using our energy efficiently, we are in alignment and things feel easy and they don't feel hard. If ever you feel like things are really difficult or you're frustrated or you're walking through treacle, it means you're out of alignment somewhere with your energy. So this response piece is the first thing that I get people to tap into, is tapping into their sacral response, because your body is actually designed as a generator with this sacral response to give you insights into what is correct for you. So, what can happen is we may have, depending on how much personal development you've done or what else has happened in your life, you may have moved away from listening to that signal. And instead, your mind might be running the show. And so, even if we have a sacral response, we might overwrite it and start thinking logically instead. So, for example, if someone comes along and asks you if you want a cup of tea, and your initial response might be, oh, yeah, I want a cup of tea. And that's your kind of sacral response. You might even feel it. You often find it as a full body kind of yes, but then your mind comes along and starts saying, "Oh yeah, but what time is it?" And now I don't know. We have to leave soon, and I'm not sure. I've already had 5 cups of tea today, and oh, I don't know. It's probably going to put them out. They don't really want to. And like all that noise chatter is from the mind. And what we really want to try and tune back into is, what was that initial response I had? Because again, your initial response, I mean, like, no, you don't want one. So trying to tune back into what is the first thing that you get. And if you don't get one, it's kind of either a hell yes or it's a no. If you're not sure or it's a maybe, then it's kind of no for now. But retuning into what is that first initial response that kind of comes from your body. And that is you kind of responding to the outside world. Um, the not healthy for a generator is frustration. So if ever you feel yourself frustrated, it's probably because you have said yes to the wrong things or it's the wrong time. So it was a maybe, and it might have been that actually wanted to do it tomorrow, not today. So really leaning in whenever you feel frustrated to really think to yourself, oh, did I let my mind convince me of this? Did I let my mind talk me into this? Did I let my mind talk me out of this? What was my initial response again? Like, have you said yes to the wrong thing if you're feeling frustrated? Um, and it might be too late in that particular situation, but you can learn for next time. And the more you start to lean, lean into this sacral response, you find yourself being less and less and less frustrated because, again, this sacral energy, it is there as a sustainable source, but only if you said yes to the right things. So even though you have this energy, if you're pushing this energy and you're sort of doing the wrong things, it can feel like, you're pushing a rock up a hill. And technically, that's when we're going to get burnt out because we're using that energy on the wrong things in the wrong way and we get frustrated. And it's because we didn't actually tune in and listen to what was the right thing for us. So always try if you aren't really sure what I'm talking about, start small. Like I said, if someone asks you if you want a cup of tea or just little things, start tuning in and seeing if you can pay attention to, you might find yourself sitting up or kind of leaning forward, or that there's kind of like a genuine kind of excitement with the yes. It's like a real yes, not a made up yes. I always say human design is actually a bit like learning to drive a car. When someone is trying to teach you how to use the clutch, they can explain it to you as much as you want, but it doesn't make sense until it makes sense. And that sacral response is kind of that same thing. Once you start to recognize it and you know what it is, you'll go, uh-huh, I know what that is now. So yeah, so trying to make sure that you are using that sustainable energy on the things you love makes everything feel easy and the frustration kind of drift away. Now, all of the human design types have their own aura, and yours as a generator is kind of open and magnetic, and it naturally attracts and draws people to you when you are in alignment. So, when you are following those responses, when you are responding, when you are saying yes to the right things, you have the right energy around you, that is when you become magnetic. And you're actually going to bring all these things into you. And that can again be quite almost like a little bit foreign to what we're taught because we might go chasing things and that can actually put us out of alignment because actually the right things are going to come across your path. If you are in alignment and your energy is magnetic, the right things are going to come in as long as you do only say yes to the right things. It's when we start forcing things and we get out of alignment that our energy is off and we start, the opportunities and the things, they stop coming across our path. So that is some tips to help get you started, get you aligned to your human design. Um, Let me know if you already think you are aligned with your sacral, if that kind of makes sense. The first thing that you might start noticing is where this frustration creeps in, because it's always really easy to kind of feel when we're out of alignment, if we know what we're looking for. But as a caveat, I always say with human design is a very intricate system. There is so much information in there that can tell you about so many things, but we do have to obviously go through it in a linear order. I've just done the very tip of the iceberg with the type and starting to look at your strategy, but how the rest of your profile, your authority, your profile, all of your centers, your gates, your channels, they are all going to add to the bigger picture of your design and how you then interact as a generator with the rest of your profile. So whenever you're looking at anything in isolation, just remember that that is what you're doing. And actually, once you've actually been on your human design journey for a while, you will be able to add all the pieces together and create a really true full picture. I always say it's a bit like if you have a load of ingredients on the table and you have butter, sugar, flour, eggs, milk, etc. Individually, they all have their own roles, but how you then connect them all together is the picture you get. So you might get cake, you might get Yorkshire puddings, you might get pancakes. Although they have the same kind of ingredients, how they're connected and how they come together makes a difference. So yeah, how the rest of your chart then connects with being a generator will make a difference. Now, I did also say I was going to give you a little analogy about how all the types go together. So how does your type work within a specific project with the other types? So if we were to think about building a house, the manifester is highly likely to have come along and initiated the whole project. So the manifester is potentially going to find the land, get the finances together, maybe get some of the team on board, and you as a generator are going to respond to that and become part of the team. And you are going to actually become part of the team that actually builds the house. Um, and the manifestor is not going to build the house. The manifestor is just kicking stuff off and getting stuff started, and then at some point will bow out of the process and likely go and build another house or start a house. Whereas the generators and the manifesting generators make up the majority of the population, will be doing all the different roles, likely of the actual kind of build and putting the house together. So it might be from the builder to the roofer to the lighting to the you might be the interior designer, you might be the painter, you might be the lighting expert. But you're going to play your role in that kind of process of actually everything coming together because you have the energy to actually do that. The projector is likely to be the project manager. So they are involved in the process, but they're not, they're kind of overseeing, and projectors are here to be a guide, and they would be overseeing and guiding everything so that everybody's, all on the same page and not bumping into each other during the whole process. And then the reflector is likely to come along at the end of the process, and they are going to be the valuer, say, and they will come along and they will look and they will absorb, and whatever they see, they will then reflect back and yeah, potentially say whether they like it or not. And in that particular example, likely to be the person that puts the value on the house. Now, if you think about that whole process, where you want to be following your sacral is, you don't want to be working on a project that is not right for you. There'll be lots of different house projects that you could work on. There might be a block of flats, there might be a gorgeous barn conversion, there might be the manifestor comes along with their idea and their initiation, but you are going to respond to, yes, this is the house I'm going to help build. Does that make sense? So that's how all the types kind of come together in your potential role. I mean, I'm not saying you're literally going to go out there and build a house, but that's kind of, I love analogies to actually help kind of put things into perspective. So if you want to know more, then I do have a free group, Your Introduction to Human Design, where you can come and connect with me, and there's lots of little tips and bits and bobs in there. I do run some workshops and different things. I've put all my links down below. You can also book in a human design reading if you just want to get straight to it, and you want to have a one-to-one with me, and we actually look at your chart and start to work through that at a deeper layer. All of the links are on my link tree, which is POC coaching for piece of cake, piece of cake coaching. And yeah, I hope that has given you some insights as to where to start and where to start aligning with your energy. Please do come and connect with me. Let me know if I can help you at all. And hopefully I will see and speak to you soon.